I study the legal history of slavery, both the laws that regulated the institution of slavery as well as the enforcement of those laws on the ground in a very specific court system called slave courts.
Know a lot about the failed transition out of slavery. We know much less about how people lived within a slave regime. Slavery wasn't coming to an end. So what was it to live within this world?
So owners would step in and negotiate sentences based on the value of an enslaved person, and they would write about doing so. And so the archive and the application, I think, is what my dissertation contributes to the field. But also what slave courts show is the enforcement of slave law. And I think that's what's been fundamentally missing, is a lot of the literature talks about the laws of slavery.
We know that race is everywhere in the criminal law. Anybody who thinks about the war on drugs, on crack cocaine, on any number, knows that race is everywhere in the story. We think of this criminal law system as fundamentally a white system where black people suddenly were into it. But it's actually a much longer story that we're just starting to begin to see the dimensions of.
Without slave court records, we don't know what laws are enforced when, which ones matter, and what those, and like how the enforcement signals values in society. What makes a trial fair? Okay, I want a jury, I want a lawyer, I want the judge to not be biased. It's that the slave law that was applied gets applied and sucked in and seeped in and mixed with our standard criminal law doctrine.
And it's a certain level of a historian's intuition to know that these records would exist if she just kept at it.